Hello, my name is Joe Poliak with Keller Williams Realty. The topic of this video are the 5 things that you should consider when preparing your home for sale. I believe that most people's goals in selling their house is to get the highest price while keeping costs as low as possible. The reason you want to bring the house to showing condition is that you want to minimize the costs that a buyer places on some of the work. For example, a buyer comes into a house and sees that there is old, stained, and ripped carpeting throughout. Not only does this give off a bad odor in the house, but it also causes most buyers to come up with a high price of replacing this. So where ripping out the old carpets and sanding and finishing the hardwood floors would only cost you roughly $3,000 to $4,000, a buyer may see this as having to replace all the floors with hardwood and decrease their potential offer price by $10,000 to $15,000. I believe that the most important thing for people that I've talked with is not necessarily just to get the highest selling price, but it's for them to net the most money possible from the sale. So if you put $1 into something, you'd like to get at least $2 back. With that being said, here's some of the factors I consider when working with my clients to prepare their home for sale. The exterior of the house is important because it's the first picture that people see when they're browsing online, and it's the first impression they get when they pull up to the house. The very first thing to consider is the landscaping. You don't necessarily need to put in a brand new lawn or have the most high-end look. You can easily just trim the grass and bushes to make sure that nothing looks scruffy and that it looks clean. Also, material like bark and mulch can go a long way in making your front lawn look great. How is the paint? If the exterior of the house is deteriorating, there's no real replacement for a good paint job. Oftentimes, I have my designer come with me to a client's house to pick out the paint colors. You want a nice contrast between the paint of the house and the trim. You want the house to stand out, but you also don't want it to deviate too much from the other homes in the neighborhood. How is the front door and the garage door? Changing these out can be relatively inexpensive, but goes a long way in increasing your home's curb appeal. Sometimes you can just get away with painting them, and that'll give them a fresh look as well. A small but very important detail is actually the mailbox. If it's very old or damaged, you should consider replacing it. What type of flooring do you have? Right now, most buyers prefer hardwood floors or the engineered flooring. If your home already has hardwood floors, which many older homes do, then you can likely just sand the surface and stain them to give that new look. What type of flooring do you have? Right now, most buyers prefer hardwood floors or engineered flooring. If your home already has hardwood floors, which many older homes do, then you can likely just sand the surface and stain them to give it that new look. But what if your home has carpeting? Well, you can check to see if there are hardwood floors underneath the carpeting, or if there are no hardwood floors, you can either install new carpeting or you can install hardwood flooring or the engineered hardwood floors, which are much cheaper. What does the interior paint look like? Well, if it's in really rough shape, you'll definitely have to repaint. But if you're like many of my clients who painted within the last few years, you just have a few walls and areas that need touching up. You can just paint those entire walls with the same color as the connecting walls. And when paint ages, it tends to change colors a bit, so it won't look exactly the same, but it'll look close enough and it'll save you a lot of money. If you do decide to repaint, then make sure you use a light, neutral color and paint the trim and ceilings either white or an off-white color. How about the interior doors? Are they all dinged up and scratched? Well, you can replace these for as low as $100 per door. Take a look at the light fixtures, the door handles, the light switches, and all the other small details of the house. Remember, home buyers pay attention to details. Changing these little things throughout the house will make a much better impression and eventually bring you a higher sale price. If you have that old linoleum, you should change it out with the new vinyl flooring or consider installing tile. How are the counters and cabinets? Well, if the kitchen has been redone within the last 10 to 15 years, then you can likely just restain the cabinets to make them look newer. If they are much older, then you may have to replace them. Or another trick that I like to use is that we can just paint them white. That'll make them look great. How does the oven and range look? Well, do they have a lot of stains from years of cooking? It may be worth it to replace them. How about the refrigerator and dishwasher? Replacing all these appliances with newer stainless steel can really make a significant difference in the way the kitchen looks to a potential buyer. Usually, it's a good idea to replace the toilets if they are older than 5 years. They are usually less than $500 each, including labor to install. Depending on when the bathroom was last remodeled, you may be able to get away with a very deep cleaning, or you may have to remodel. Usually, all you need to do with these areas is clean them up and empty them. If you've been living in the home for a while, obviously that's easier said than done. You can either hire a professional organizer who will help you with hauling away junk and storing the items you want to keep for your move, or you can just do it yourself. Again, my name is Joe Poliak and I'm with Keller Williams Real Estate, and I hope this video was helpful. If you have any more questions or you'd like to learn more, you can visit my YouTube channel and watch other videos I've made. You can also visit my website, joepoliak.com, and contact me directly. If you're thinking about selling a home, then please visit my sellers page where you can receive a free home value estimate. If you're thinking about buying a home, then please visit my buyers page where you can search for homes for sale.